meeting started since I had some tech difficulties. So an extra special thanks to Anya tonight. All yours, Carl.
So, okay, excellent. So, folks, good evening. Happy Tuesday. So I hope everyone remains safe and sound. And so I'm Carl Henry Cesar, and my co-chair Wakil. Could you introduce yourself, please, as well? You may be on mute, Wakil. So. All right, so I'll reach out to Wakil about that. But basically, so myself and Wakil, we are the co-chairs of the Youth Services Education Libraries Committee meeting. And so thank you for coming. And so today's agenda, very high level. We're going to get an update on various items and services from the libraries. And then for the second half of the agenda, we're going to have various neighborhood institutions share some of their programs. And it sounds like someone may be, talking while I'm talking. And so just please mute yourself and then unmute yourself when it's time. That's my only ask. So I think that may be Mary. Mary, I have a question. By chance, can you mute yourself?
I don't think she's familiar with platform WebEx or how to mute herself. So if the host can help with that, that would be helpful.
Let's see. So, okay. And so with that being said, the first part of our agenda, we're going to get some updates from the libraries. And so my first question is, do we have someone from the general public library here in attendance?
Yes, we have myself, Taina Evans, Regional Director within Brooklyn Public Library, and I'm joined with a few of the managers for 4 branches within Community Board 14.
Okay, great. And so, remind me again, do I pronounce your name Taina or Taina?
Yes.
Taina? Okay, great.
Yes.
Excellent. So Taina, let me know how you would like to do this. Do you want to go first and then we could go Midwood, Cortelyou, Kensington, Flatbush, or is it that you would start speaking and then it would just be a natural kind of flow among the other branches?
Yeah, thank you for asking. It will be part of a natural progression. We did share a slide beforehand. So if you want, I can share my screen, or if one of the chairpersons have the slides.
So, I just made you the presenter, so you can go ahead. You have this, you can share your screen.
Thank you so
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
And then Taina, heads up for you. So folks, so my only ask is while Taina is presenting, could we put ourselves on mute? And then Taina, question for you. If any of our fellow community members have questions, would you prefer that, we wait until the presentation is done, or, at any point in time, could one of our community members, raise a hand or post a question in the chat to let you know? How would you like to proceed?
I appreciate that. I would prefer maybe if they ask a question in the chat, because you are going to hear presentations from 4 different libraries, and there might be a question that you ask one branch that I will be able to answer for all 4. And so that would help. And then of course, at the end, we're happy to take questions as we see fit. So,
okay, great. So then what we'll do, Taina, is people put your questions in the chat, and then as we see them, what I'll do is I'll raise my hand, and then that'll be a way for you to know that, hey, I'm about to let you know there's a question from the chat. So.
Okay, wonderful. And I'm going to put the chat screen on my screen so I can see it as well. I can't hear anyone. Colzan Valentine, is sound permission. Can people hear me? Okay. And the slides are visible. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, thumbs up. Wonderful. So again, my name is Taina Evans. I work at Brooklyn Public Library, and I wanted to do a little trivia at the beginning, and hopefully you would join me on this activity. But as you mentioned, we're happy to present at the Education Committee meeting tonight. Unfortunately, and I think Nyla expressed this, that she wasn't able to do it because she's at CB 12 giving a presentation about Borough Park. So as you know, Brooklyn Public Library has 59 branches, 1 central library, and the Center for Brooklyn History. We've been in existence for 125 years. And we're very happy and proud of the long time legacy that we have in impacting the community and sharing our resources for free for boroughs, Brooklynites, and anyone who lives in New York. But as stated earlier, we are going to be discussing for particular locations, the Kensington, Cortelyou, Midwood, and Flatbush libraries. Can anyone guess, if this is an interactive portion, how old each BPL location are in CB14?
I'm thinking that the Flatbush branch is maybe 90 years old or like 80.
That's a good guess. Anyone take a stab at the others? I don't know if stab is appropriate. A guess at the others?
Cortelyou, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, whoever was speaking first, go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I feel like the Cortelyou Library was probably built in the 80s.
80s. Okay. I would say you're warm there, but not warm in the sense that you think. But yeah. And then you were going to say?
Yeah, for the Kensington one, I'm gonna guess. I'm thinking like maybe I'm gonna say like 60 years old.
Okay. So here are the ages of your local library. And so Kensington is 108 years old. Midwood is 110 years old. Flatbush is 117. And yeah, Cortelyou is the baby of the bunch. Oh, what's going on with the slides? Oh no, I'm seeing a sad face. Cortelyou is the baby of the bunch at 39 years. And the city of New York, when it was consolidating in 1896, they passed a resolution to establish BPL separate from Queens Public Library, and as you know, separate from New York Public Library. New York Public covers Bronx and Staten Island and Manhattan, Queens, the borough of Queens, and then you have Suffolk County and Nassau County Library Systems, which are independently operated. But Brooklyn, in November 30th of 1896, became Brooklyn Public Library after the Brooklyn Common Council passed to nurture the minds of people and lay the foundation of a better civilization for the future. So we want to continue this through the 21st century. Obviously, we have our legacy in the 20th century, and I said 59 earlier, but altogether 61, if you count Central and Center for Brooklyn History, across boroughs and outreach sites. We also have an outreach services department, and where we have access to our materials in hospitals, homeless shelters, senior centers, jails, and rehabilitation facilities. So we have expanded and really tried to, again, lay that foundation for the future. With time comes wear and tear. And so I want to lay out this plan of the capital overview of BPL and CB14. We have extensive needs in the system, which estimates over $250 million in critical infrastructure upgrades. So many of our branches are some of the things that you typically don't see. I know when you want to walk into a branch and you want to see some new chairs and some new shelving and some new furniture, and that really feels good. But in order to feel like the temperature, like today, to make sure that the AC is working, that's an HVAC system. We want that to remain operational. There's some interior renovation that needs to happen. Of course, having all of our public PCs had a refresh. So we now have all-in-one computers at every single one of our locations. But of course, you know, technology, furniture, and collection all adds up. Some of the capital needs in CB14 is the Cortelyou Library, which needs to have this exterior done. Even though it's 39, that work is 39 years old. That work is going to entail about roughly $50,000. Flatbush in the future would need abatement, and then upgrades to the safety and security systems. Midwood, the same thing, upgrades to the safety and security system, and they're slated to actually have a new roof and new heating and cooling. And so the timeline for any of that, if you have questions about timeline, will be best answered by Nyla. What we can safely say is that Midwood, out of the 3 locations that have the capital needs, would be first in terms of the project scope. And then upcoming capital projects that has already been funded and you'll probably will see an impact in the future would be the plaza renovation at Cortellu. If you've been there, you've seen that it's a little bit of a step. There's also an ADA accessible door at Cortellu. So right now you have to pull the door open. We're hoping to make sure that you have the push button so that our community members who may have a disability that they identify with, they will be able to kind of just use the push and be really independent in our spaces. Flatbush Library, again, would have some kind of overhaul in the future, and again, the Midwood Library upgrade. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to the branch manager within the spaces to kind of tell you some of the upcoming programs that they have, the hours of service, and give you a little bit of what's been happening post-pandemic. So I want to turn it over to Antonia and Mary to kind of talk about the Cortellu Library.
So Taina,
Yes.
thank you for that piece. And then before we go to the Cortellu piece of the presentation, I do have one question. And so for the 250 million in upgrades, do you or any of the like corresponding branch managers, do you have an idea like how much of these are COVID driven or not? You know, like HVAC is definitely more important in COVID, and you know, when we're looking at interior renovations, I'm wondering if that's like spacing. And so do either of you, does anyone on your team know if some percentage of those are COVID-19 driven, or it's like these were always going to be the case no matter what?
Midwood delay was 2019 driven. I can say that. They were slated to have a closure already as of August 2022. We're still in the design phase of the project. Well, you know, we know it's the roof, we know it's the HVAC, and we're trying to get that up and running. Of course, our partner in this is DDC. And so we have to go through, you know, the board and the procurement process and all of those necessary steps in order to finalize some of the things. But there has been major delays in all of our branches due to the pandemic, but particularly Midwood was first, and those delays have happened because of people weren't in the office. I mean, there's a number of reasons. You know, transition in departments, people working from home, off hours. Some of our team, you know, we have seen part of that great resignation, and then people, we just got a full team back with our capital planning and management. So we feel very confident in moving forward and really providing updates and spruce ups and necessary interior renovations for all of the locations.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that.
No problem. Antonia?
Good evening, everyone. Greetings from Cortellu staff. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you this evening. Cortellu branch is located at 1305 Cortellu Road between Argyle and Rugby Roads. Our hours of operation are as follows. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we are open from 10 until 6 p.m., 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And Tuesdays and Thursdays are our late nights. We are open from 1 until 8 on Tuesdays and 10 until 8 on Thursdays. Saturday, we open from 10 until 5, and Sunday, we are closed. But there are neighboring branches like Midwood branch that open on Sundays. During the pandemic, the branch was renovated with new flooring, new lighting, and new shelving. And the new shelving has wheels, so if we are having a function in the branch on a grand scale, we can move those shelves. In addition, we had a ribbon cutting ceremony on September 13, 2021, with the council member Matthew Eugene, the director of the Brooklyn Public Library, children from a local school, Catelliu Early Childhood Center and Academy, that's their name, and their teacher, Michelle and Hoff. Staff and community members attended this event. Next. Aina, next. At this present time, our services are as follows. Book drop, face masks. Masks are not mandatory when in the library at this time, but it is still encouraged. Hand sanitizer, COVID-19 test, 2 per customer. Outdoor seating, 3 self-check machines, 14 PCs, 6 for children, 8 adults with 1 being express for 15 minutes and 1 toddler computer. And during the pandemic, we offered limited occupancy to attend our program. We were only taking in 5 people at a time to our program. Then on April 22 of 21, we were advised to consider offering impromptu, unadvertised, not pop-up program on our public floor if space and circumstances allowed, and or outdoor programs if weather permitting. Now we are offering programs in the library, in our meeting rooms and our public floor, and also if weather permitting, we also have program outside as well on our promenade. At this present time, we offer train time on Mondays from 10:15 to 11 a.m., where toddlers join us in person for our popular train time with Thomas. The toddler have fun building a railroad and then driving their Thomas trains around the tracks. On Tuesdays, we have 2 programs, Computer Basics from 2 to 3 p.m. And this program is designed specifically for those who are completely new to computers or who feel they need to have more instruction before confidently using the computer. The lessons introduce new PC users to the hardware, applications, and technique to navigate a computer. Also on Tuesday, we have Kids Create from 3 to 4 p.m. And next week, we will change the time from 3 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And this program offers science or craft activity for ages 5 and up. On Wednesdays, we also have 2 programs, Brainy Babies from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And this is from birth to 3 years old. This is an inclusive, interactive program for babies, toddlers, parents, and caregivers. And each week we explore a different theme to promote and encourage brain and language development, early learning practices, and social emotional skill. It is a 6-week program and registration are needed. We present books, songs, rhyme, and finger plays in English and Spanish. Brainy Babies are in its 5th week, and we will explore movements tomorrow. And the final week, we will explore emotions. At the end of the 6-week program, families will receive free materials to continue the learning process at home. I lead this program along with a new children's librarian, Sharon DeYoung, and Araceli Poma, who is our wonderful volunteer this year for Brainy Babies. Araceli is an accomplished Peruvian musician who brings her passion for Afro Andean music and culture to the class as she sings songs and read books in Spanish to the children while playing the Peruvian instrument, the charango, and using unique puppets. She is in the band Afro Andean Funk, which was nominated for a Latin Grammy, but her first Latin Grammy nomination was in 2020 for the album and documentary, The Warrior Woman of Afro-Peruvian Music, which showcases female musicians who showcase Afro-Peruvian music and culture. Her enthusiasm for the songs and stories she reads is infectious to both the babies and adults who attend the class, and her plethora of talents are emblematic of the quality of volunteers Brooklyn Public Library attracts for its programming. We are lucky to have her and look forward to future collaborations with her at the branch if she is available. The program is made possible by the Robin Hood Foundation, Mother Cabini Health Foundation, and New York City Council. Also, crochet and knitting from 2 to 4 on Wednesdays. We welcome anyone from ages 13 and up, and this program is led by me as well. On Thursdays, we have Teen Tech time from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. And this Tech Fun program, teens meet new friends while playing an assortment of video games, board games, and computer games. They use Nintendo Switch, PS4 to challenge each other in friendly battles. Then also we have English conversation from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., which started 3 weeks ago. This is a weekly program and a safe space for speakers of all levels and backgrounds. Adult practice English in a conversation group. It is a drop-in program without registration. It is led by Sharon DeYoung. She teaches the in-person ESL conversation class, and the first 2 sessions were a snapshot of the immigrant population of the area with participants from over 10 countries in attendance. Sharon is a certified ESL teacher who taught ESL in Los Angeles for a number of years. Could tell you started the class after receiving numerous inquiries from patrons about such a class, patrons who were not interested in a virtual program but wanted something in person. The classes are bringing together a community of people of all ages and backgrounds who enjoy practicing their English together, meeting new friends, and offer the chance for beneficial connection to be made for those newly arrived or who have been in the US for years to meet and hone their English speaking skills. We are proud to be one of the first branches to resume in-person ESL classes at the branch. Moreover, we offer story time for children on Fridays from 11 to 11:30 a.m. and Saturdays from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. We have a few upcoming programs, and Mary will take the floor. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
I think you guys, ladies, are in the same room. Yeah, so one of you have to mute and maybe reduce your sound, and then the other one can be able to speak uninterrupted.
You got you as well.
Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. I'm going to go over the upcoming programs that we are going to have here at the Cortelia Library. I'm going to talk first about the digital privacy of the cybersecurity. This is an adult program. We will share to attendees how to identify known and unknown theft, identify behavior patterns, and exhibit by spyware, stop in progress attacks before they become breach, and detect malicious activities. Creative aging. Antonio will be attending a 3-day workshop from October 31st to November 2nd to offer creative aging program to the community. This is a core competency of it's to offer professional development to the librarian. This training will prepare the library programming staff to plan, promote, and implement creative aging programs. They will be introduced to the creative aging field, including current research that underpin best practice as well as its history and background. participant will analyze and elevate their own ideas about aging and how that inform their work with older adults, and will experience best practice in promoting programming throughout participant in a remote workshop. Additionally, they will be trained to support I'm going too fast. They will be trained to support remote created aging program, surveying patrons to plan responsive programming, identify, work and plan with teaching artists, recruit marketing for online creativities. After the training, Antonia will create aging program for older adults 55 and up. And then we have the star of the party. Last month, Cortelia Branch won a mini grant from Brooklyn Public Library School Age Service to host a literacy-based school age program. For that event, we decided to invite the author Jan Carr to read from her latest picture book, Star of the Party, The Solar System Celebrates. During the read out loud, the group discussed children who learned fun facts about their solar system while enjoying a clever and funny story about the planet throwing a birthday party for the sun, which is 4.6 million years old. After the read out loud, families will be invited to do a number of related craft projects with Jan and the library staff. They will go home with a space-themed goodie bag with a 3D rocket craft, and a BPL research list features a nonfiction book, an ebook, and online research about our solar system. The Microsoft Basic is one of, and if not the most widely used platform all over the world. Officially, Microsoft Word Office is a guaranteed must-have to put on any resume. For this program, we will introduce new and returning Word users to the basics of creating, editing Office documents. The lesson will also cover the core features of Microsoft Word, created in open documents, the Microsoft Word interface, and how to format text. And one more thing I need to mention in this Board of Election is in the city of New York, and in accordance with the New York State election law, had designated Cortelia Library to be a poll site, and during the 2022 election cycle. The next election is the general election that will be held on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. But last but not least, the staff and I would like to thank the Friends Group, the council member Rita Joseph, the 70th Precinct, and Community Board 14 for their community support.
Okay. Thank you so much, Cortelia team. You gave a lot of information, and I thank you also to the committee for allowing a lot of this time. Flatbush branch manager Narinda.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Narinda Chawla. I'm the new branch manager at the Flatbush branch. So the Flatbush branch is open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 6, Tuesday, 1 to 8, and Thursday, 10 to 8. We just recently had a successful African drums program with the Brooklyn Music School, and that went over really well. The children enjoyed it, the adults enjoyed it, so it was a really good program that we had. Currently, we have the book drop outside for returns. We also have outdoor seating. We have 3 self-check machines, self-checkout, self-check-in machines. We have adult computers and we have children's computers. Some of the programs that are coming that we have currently are, for example, today we had the chess workshop 5 to 6, and it's for all ages basically. We have a chess master that joins us. He conducts the program, and that's very successful. Also on Wednesdays we have toddler time from 11 a.m. to 11:45. On Thursday we have teen time, Flatbush Gaming Club from 4 to 5. This is a program for our teens. On Fridays, we have preschool story time 11 to 11:45. So basically we have, and in the story time, there's also like a playtime period. So that's incorporated in that as well. And also on Friday, this coming Friday actually, we have a Kids Create Craft Time from 4 to 5. And on Saturday, this coming Saturday, we have a watercolors program for kids from 11 to 1. So part of what we're doing here right now is we're going to have we're going to have computer basics as a class. Hopefully, Ask a Tech also, and we're going to set up a station like a computer help desk station for anyone that needs immediate computer help, because some of our librarians may be helping other people, and there are some people that just need to print right away, or they need to download something really quick and they might not be familiar with it. And so we're going to have a computer help desk. We're going to try it out for a couple of hours each day and see how that works out. We also give out COVID-19 tests at our branch. Like I said, we also have outdoor seating. We also have I don't know if I mentioned, but we also have a express computer. Once a month, we have Brooklyn Supports, which is a program where they set up a table and they help people who might need any kind of social services. So that takes place once a month. They come here usually on a Wednesday from 11 to 1. The other program that we have is Drop-in Resume Help, which is on Wednesdays from 3 to 5. So we have our adult librarian. She has a table set up and she has a laptop, and anyone that needs help with resume help can come in and get resume help. She has some resources that she shares with them as far as how to write a resume, how to do a cover letter. So yeah, and also in the once a month, actually not once a month, but about every 5 weeks, we have an adult book club that takes place, and we also have once a month we have an adult crafts program that our adult librarian conducts. Also in the future, we're looking forward to maybe having ESOL classes, citizenship classes, and like I said, computer classes. Also, we're going to have a voting site here for November 8th. So yeah, and we also have room reservations that people can reserve rooms, because we have a pretty large meeting room. We have the large meeting room and we have a smaller meeting room, and we have the alcove. So we have had some success with patrons booking rooms for anything that they need. Yeah, so I think that's all I had to say for now. Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to present, and thank you to the Community Board 14.
Narendra Paul has been at the Flatbush location for about 5 weeks now. And
Yeah.
he's already chock full of all the knowledge and all the stuff that's going on with his branch. So we're committed here. So I'm gonna turn it over to the Kensington Library, and here we have William, who's the branch manager, who will talk more about it.
Hi. Thank you, Taina.
You're welcome.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for hosting us. It's been a while since we presented at the Libraries Committee. It's good to be back. Good to see some familiar faces. Excuse my voice. I'm kind of losing it right now, but I'll try to speak up.
We were going to ask you to sing later.
You guys might enjoy it. My kids would not, though. They've told me to please not sing.
Thanks for struggling through.
Thank you. So Kensington, we're at 4207 18th Avenue, and My name is William Lunes, pronounced like Monday in Spanish. I always tell people Lunes, so it's usually easy to remember after that. The hours are very similar to the two previous branches, so I won't go through that. We used to be a Sunday branch years ago when there was more funding. We hope to be a Sunday branch again. As Tanina mentioned earlier, the Kensington Library is 108 years old. However, the new Kensington Library was opened on November 12th, 2012. The old location was at 410 Ditmas Avenue, and some of you may remember the old location. It's I kind of won the bet. It's now a medical center. It was turned into a medical center, and we moved down to 18th Avenue. And in doing so, we moved from Community Board 12 into Community Board 14 because we were right at that borderline. So we're very happy to be with Community Board 14, though we like Community Board 12 also, but it's good to be with 14. So the Kensington Library on 18th Avenue, it is the first BPL Green Library, and it's a pretty big library. It's 18,000 square feet. We have tons of abundant natural light, windows everywhere, as you can see from the picture there. And let me see, we have energy efficient heating, air conditioning systems, and environmentally friendly ceiling and floor. The floors actually are very easy to walk on. It's they use recycled material, and it's very, very easy on the knees. So even the steps in the stairwell, it's a nice feature. I enjoyed it. I actually have been with this Kensington Library for 18 years. So I worked for 8 years in the previous location and 10 years now in the new location. So 18 years. So I have something to compare to. The old library was homey, but it's good to have a new building with all the light and the windows and space. Thank you. So we have 3 levels. The first level there, the main floor, is the adult room, the top picture there. And if you can see that sign in the back, that's where the teen section is, and the play on words, the Kensington section there. So the teens have their own space, and we were one of the first branches actually that had a separate space for teenagers. And we used that didn't come with the building. Actually, we used some grant money a few years ago. The staff, including myself, we advocated for a separate teen space, and we were fortunate enough to have funding for that. And we have some nice tables there. We have stadium seating. We have some chessboards, and they do get used a lot. Not as much as pre-pandemic, but we're hopeful that as the teens and the children and most people come back to the library, that it gets used again as it used to. So that's the first floor. The second floor upstairs is the children's room. And we have, could have taken a better picture, sorry. But we have a toddler area there on the right with the small tables. And we have we call it the donut hole in the middle, which allows for a lot of light to go down to the first floor from the skylight up top. So it's a helpful feature. Like I said, I love the light, love the space. And the basement has the community meeting room where we do a lot of programs, and we have a projector that we also use grant funds to install into the ceiling, which makes programs a lot easier than dragging on a projector and putting it on a cart and having wires on the floor. So it's a very, very nice space, and one of the bigger screens in BPL as well. I think maybe Central might have the only one that's bigger than ours. So we're very proud of the screen and the projector, and we have about 75 chairs in there. We do a lot of programs, as I said. We do we're a polling site for the election, so that's the space that gets used for the on election day, the basement. And we have about 75 chairs. It actually gets used quite often for community groups. We've had Tenants Association meetings in there. We've had we actually have a memorial service coming up in November. A community member whose wife passed away was part of the Kensington Stewards community group, and they're having a memorial service in there. And we're very happy to be able to accommodate the group for that. So that's the 3 floors. Some of the services we offer, like all branches, we have COVID-19 tests. I always make sure that we have tests available. When we get halfway through a box, I always order more. Face masks as well. We never run out. We have probably one of the, if not the only, 24-hour return slot. Our slot we keep open 24 hours. Keep it open during the day as well, because 18th Avenue, if you've driven on 18th Avenue, you know how parking is not it's not an abundant situation. So we feel for our community members. So we install the book drop to be 24/7, so they could just double park, run out quickly, return their materials, and get back in their car if they don't want to come in. So it's also open overnight, obviously. So in partnership with the Department of Transportation, we have outdoor seating. We have 7 tables and 14 chairs, and there's pictures there. And they actually get used quite often. I mean, even people who aren't library users, people just passing by need a place to rest, or people just want to use a laptop, check their smartphone, have a seat, have a cup of coffee. We actually had people one time come in and ask for were giving us their coffee orders. We're like, no, sorry, sir, sorry, it's just a seat. Could give you some books though, you know. So we've actually tried to do some programs out there, a couple of times a book discussion, but the buses and the noise, it was just a little too much, and it was, oh, excuse me, I can't hear you. So we've had to rescind doing programs out there, but we do have tabling events though out there, so it's not sometimes. So you see, we have a lot of PCs, as Taina mentioned earlier. All BPL branches have new computers. Kensington is fortunate enough to have computers designated for adults, also for young adults and for children, and we have 8 each for those groups. So 8 for adult, 8 for young adult, 8 for children. We also have 1 express computer if people are really in a rush and don't want to wait for a computer. However, we have so many, there never really is a wait. So I think we're in the top 5 or 6, I forgot the number, in BPL for computer sessions. So we get used quite often for computers, and there's never really a wait. So we're also in the top 10 for Wi-Fi usage. So we check those numbers. Want to see how we're doing. So we get used a lot for our technology and for our Wi-Fi, which is good. Thank you. Some of our current and recurring programs. When the pandemic hit and we returned to work, we were trying to offer something to our community members and to children especially, and we found the grab-and-go crafts were very much in demand. So we couldn't do in-person programs, so my entire staff, God bless them, they are all on board with doing programs and doing as many programs as possible, and they jumped on board for the grab-and-goes. And we are starting actually this coming Saturday a chess workshop group that's going to meet every Saturdays from 10 to 12. We're hopeful that will bring some patrons to the library on Saturdays, because being on the border of Borough Park, Saturday is our lightest day for foot traffic. We don't get a lot of foot traffic on Saturdays, so we're hopeful that with the having a program like chess, that we attract some users to the library on Saturdays. Kids Tech Time, we try to do that once or twice a month. It's a recurring program. Depends on staffing, as does the Kids Create programs. We let me see. We have begun as the school year began. We seems like the Department of Education, the schools, once again want to come to the library, and it's fantastic. Last year we were doing mostly virtual visits to the schools, but now this year the schools all want to come to the branch, to the Kensington Library, and we are trying to accommodate as many as possible. And it's a little tricky sometimes. We don't have children's librarians right now. We're actually 3 staff members short, but we are all trying, including myself, all pitching in, trying to accommodate as many schools as possible. And local schools are PS 134, PS 192, PS 179 as well. Just got in touch with us and they want to come as well. And Chowchillis High School. It's good to have a high school come to the library. We've had difficulty in years past getting intermediate schools and high schools to come. And it's good to have a high school come and see the library, get library cards, and show them our library and the programs and services that we offer. Teen Time is a weekly program on Wednesdays. Some of our computer programs are recurring: the Computer Basics, Microsoft Word, email. We try to vary it each month because some people evenings are better, some people weekends are better, some people mornings are better. So we try to vary it to try to get as many people as possible. We found since the excuse me, since the pandemic started, and we're kind of like on the tail end of the pandemic, that we've kind of noticed that people kind of their computer skills have kind of regressed. Even some of our regular patrons, we've noticed a regression of computer skills, and we're very, very eager to get them acclimated again to the computers and to the applications, the programs we offer. So let me see. And as mentioned earlier, we have a lot of tabling events outside, Department of Sanitation. We've had housing services outside, census, done tablings for us. So we get used a lot for tabling. And some of the upcoming programs that we have, we're trying to get some homework helpers on board. Like I mentioned, we have a lot of children now and teens coming to the library after school, and it is really good to see. Last year, we were very quiet in the children's room after school. Seems like a lot of kids after school just went home. So it's good to see the library getting close to what we were pre-pandemic. And so we see a real need for homework help. We're trying to get volunteers for that through our volunteer department. Our staff are trying to put together some workshops to show kids and teens how to actually, do research on the computer again. Because as I mentioned, we've noticed that some of the skills that kind of, even my kids were remote for a year and a half, and and they've come back to the library as well after school, and they're getting back into using the PCs and taking out books again. So that's good. We're trying to, before the pandemic, we had a very popular English as a second language conversation group. We're trying to get that back again, but that also is through the Central Library Volunteer Services Department. So we reached out to them, and they're trying to onboard 1 or 2 conversation leaders for us. We found patrons, young and older alike, are very fascinated by the 3D printers. We've actually done grab and go crafts by just printing off, like a very popular one we did a couple of months ago was a Titanic. One of my colleagues printed off a bunch of these Titanic models from the 3D printer, and people came from all over Brooklyn. I mean, they were calling to find out how to get to the library, and we gave out probably about 100 of those Titanics. So those are very popular. We want to actually show people how the 3D printer works in person. We've streamed these workshops over the last, actually when we were doing mostly remote programs, the actual 3D printer, how it operated. We want to do these in person. Of course, we have to do smaller objects because the 3D printer takes a long time sometimes to print one Titanic. Even if it's a smaller version of the Titanic, it could take 2 or 3 hours to print. So we want to show people how the 3D printer works. One of my staff members wants to do karaoke workshops, programs for our actually young and older alike. And what's great about Kensington Library is that it doesn't matter what your title is, whether it's librarian or we have what we call TRSs, which are the tech experts, or clerical members. Every single one of my staff members does programs at the libraries, and it's really fantastic. I mean, it's wonderful. So that's, I think I'm running long on my time. Thank you, Taina, and thank you all again for hosting us. Thank you.
No problem. So William, thank you very much for that presentation as well on Kensington. And so I just have one question. I believe, if I understand correctly, I believe the Midwood Library may be up next. And so my ask is it possible for you to, finish sharing the updates that you wanted to share by 7:30? Just because I would like to leave time for the other groups that are here to also share their information. So that's it. So I'm done speaking. I turn it over to the next library.
Okay, thank you for hosting us, and this is my first time I've been to the Libraries Committee, even though I've attended a whole bunch of community board meetings in the past. The hours for the Midwood Library are the same as the other branches. We are open on Sundays. It's one of our busier days. And we're glad that we could provide this service to our community, which, you know, would prefer to come on Sundays and Fridays as opposed to maybe some other days of the week. We have an outdoor plaza. We don't, with seating. People use it all times of the year, even in the winter, and they're very happy because they can get Wi-Fi services while sitting out there. Oftentimes I have seen patrons sitting outside and working on their laptops or using various technical devices. China had mentioned our upcoming renovation that has, because of various scheduling issues, that has been postponed now. We're hoping that it will happen sooner rather than later. And we hope that in the course of that renovation, a part of it is to get like a teen space on our first floor. We have a large, we have two meeting rooms, a large auditorium in the basement, which is used also as a poll site, along with Cortelyou, Kensington, and Flatbush. We are a voting place. And but we use it for a whole bunch of other programs. We offer many adult computer classes there. Microsoft Office, Google applications, computer basics, internet basics, email basics, and Ask a Tech, which is a one-on-one class that patrons can ask from ahead of time. In addition to that, we use the auditorium, the basement auditorium for YA programs, so that we can give the teens a space of their own to be themselves while in the library instead of being constrained by the other public that is around. Right now we have ESOL classes. We only got that because of some difficulties with them meeting at Kings Highway, but we're very happy that they're here. A lot of our patrons have asked for it, and we really like the fact that we have been getting that this quarter. We are also, our meetings rooms are available for public reservations, and our public frequently asks to use them. On our main floor, we have one of our programs is a chess club that meets Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays from 1 to 4. We have chess boards and chess pieces, and they just come in and they play, and we don't have to oversee it. It was actually started by a patron by the name of Bob. He has been to a number of different branches, and he is a local character, you could say. He's an older adult, and we're hoping that we can attract older adults to our branch by the chess club, and hopefully attract more people. We right now we're not getting as many people playing chess as we used to before, but we hope to change that in the future. You want to talk about the YA club?
Yes. I'd just like to speak a little bit on, Rocky mentioned some of our adult programs. I'd just like to speak a little bit on the other programs that we have. My name is Sheila Villalba. I'm the library circulation supervisor. And so we have a lot of upcoming program and ongoing programs that we feature on social media, and also anyone can just drop into the library and get a flyer as to any of the programs that we have ongoing or upcoming programs. We have our new young adult librarian that put on a slew of new programs, which is, encouraging, because the idea is to have our patron, reconnect to us and come back into the library. So on ongoing programs include anime club, button making, and different other programs that she put on for the kids, like teen draw and distress themselves. This helps the kids after they come up from school just to relax and do something a little bit different from what they did in school or class for the day. She also have like a teen watercoloring program. Those are from 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock onward in the evening. She have a writing workshop that will be coming up soon, November 17th. And one of the programs that she wants to encourage the kids to attend is one of those Thanksgiving program that she wants the kids to learn more about Thanksgiving, the history of Thanksgiving, how it came about, and allies of the indigenous population of the US and Canada and so on. And some of these kids, they might be familiar with it, and some of them may not be familiar with it, but the idea is to encourage them to learn more about such programs. She also have a different type of programs for teen as well as tween. And so for these ones, we want to encourage them. A lot of times we see the kids come up from school and they're just sitting around or on the computer, just, playing games and whatnot. And we want to make them or encourage them to be more productive. And so we are offering all these programs, at a time when it's convenient for them after they come up from school, to just come to the library and, have a different scene from whatever they have from school. Our floor, our children's floor rather, is on the second floor, and we have programs like Kids Create, Game On, Build Up, which is the Lego program, preschool, and story time. So it's a number of different programs that we have out for them, and we just want to encourage the kids to come in and to relax and have fun in the library.
I also wanted to mention that Assemblymember Eichenstein recently gave funding to our branch and some other branches, I assume, and we got additional Jewish interest books for our collection in September, and we are really pleased that we got them. Really happy. Thank you.
Rocky and Sheila, thank you, everyone, for listening to our presentation. We hope that it's thorough enough for you to kind of encourage the community or at the general board meeting about some of the programs that they have for all ages. Again, the contact is Nana Rosario for community engagement, myself as the Flatbush Regional Director, which pretty much means that I help support the managers that you see in the room, and I'm kind of like the liaison between them and administration. So can't do any of this without their leadership, and I thank them today for being open and really open to ideas and open to share with the community. So I want to stop sharing my screen, and I know that we are at time, but I'm happy to stick around and answer any questions in the chat. I do want to defer to the chair of the committee to tell us to proceed, whether to stick around for questions or to dedicate the rest of the meeting for what you had in there as the agenda item.
Sure. So first of all, yes, thank you so much to you and the team for your thorough presentation. Like it was a lot of fun, and it was very cool to hear all the different things, not only the history, but all the different things that have been going on and some of the changes that you've all been seeing as schools and people are slowly coming back again. So thank you for that. And then to your question, let's do exactly what you had said, where if people have any follow-up questions, they can post them in the chat. But what we'll do in the meantime is we'll devote the rest of the meeting to the other organizations that are here. So we can definitely do that.
And Carl, let me please just add that any question that occurs to you after this meeting, please send it to info@cb14brooklyn.com, and we will make sure the questions get forwarded as any follow-up. Or just go to your libraries and ask your librarians in real life.
Yes.
As people say in real life, I see what you did there. Yeah.
Thank you all very much. We appreciate you all very much.
Thank you.
Excellent. And so for the next part of our committee meeting, we have several organizations/programs that are in our area. And so I just want to do a roll call to confirm that they're all here. And so I just want to confirm that the Brooklyn Transition and College Access Center is here.
Yes, I'm here. It's Shireen Anderson. Hello.
Awesome. Hello, Shireen. Nice to meet you. I want to confirm that Working in Support of Education WISE is here.
Yes, I'm here.
Hello. And do I pronounce your name Lanier?
Yes.
Okay, great. So nice to meet you, Lanier. And then I also want to confirm that Trailblazers, the Flatbush Youth Program, is here.
Yes, we're here.
Excellent. And do I pronounce your name Giovanelli?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, excellent. And then I also want to confirm that the Academy for College Preparation and Career Exploration at Erasmus Hall is here.
I'm here.
Okay, excellent. And so what we'll do is, okay, so it's 7:32. So let's do this. So in terms of order, let's do this. We'll go first with Brooklyn Transition. So Shireen, that will be you. And then second, we'll go with Working in Support. So Lanier, that will be you. Third, we'll go Trailblazers. So Giovanelli, that will be you. And then fourth, we'll go for Academy for College Prep. So Joan, that will be you. And then let's say for all our parties, let's try 7 minutes each. So with that, I'll stop speaking. And Shireen, I turn it over to you.
Okay, I'm gonna have to talk fast because I do have a PowerPoint. I've never used WebEx before, so I'm gonna try and share my screen. Of course, it doesn't pop up. So this is the challenging part. Okay, let's try this way. Okay.
So Shireen, hold up real quick. By chance, either Sean or Anya, are you able to make her a presenter? And then
She's the presenter now, so she should have the share screen capability.
Yes.
Okay,
so
there it is.
I'm gonna open up. Let me see if I do it this way. Oh, there it is. Thank you. Okay, hit share. Let me know if you see it.
Yep, I'm looking at Transition and College Access Centers. Yep.
Okay, all right, terrific. So good evening, everyone. My name is Shireen Anderson, and I'm the Community Engagement Manager for Brooklyn TCAC, Transition and College Access Center. And it's very apropos, actually, and I'm going right after the libraries because I've actually worked with the Cortolia Library with Mary Young. I saw her name as one of the participants. So we've worked with them for SYEP, Summer Youth Employment. So that's great. Okay, so I have 7 minutes. I'm going to go fast. not too fast, but I'm going to try and go fast. So our mission and vision statement is the Transition and College Access Center supports high school students and their families with an IEP or a 504. So an IEP just means that, the student may have some variance aspect of a disability, whether it's seen or unseen, right? I tell the story that if me and Joe Biden were going to high school right now, they'd say we have an IEP because we both sometimes stutter. So, an IEP could just range across the board in and of itself. And all students are provided with experiences that foster their academic, social, emotional, and vocational growth and excellence. Uh-oh, something happened. Oh, okay. There There we go. Facilitating multiple pathways to graduation and success after high school. So net, we work with these high school students to really get them prepared for graduation and then to be successful after graduation, whether they decide to go to college or whether they decide to live independently or they decide to enter into the workforce. So this is just a screen of our various stakeholders. You know, the students, of course, is the center of everything, the families, post-secondary institutions, business entities, educators, and community-based organizations like the library. So these are our overarching goals. I'm not going to read this word for word, but, you know, we develop and support transition-focused information and resources by linking the students and their families to prepare them for college or careers. As we mentioned, we work with various CBOs in terms of our work-based learning opportunities and employment access. We, again, you know, work in terms of developing career learning to support them so that they can graduate. We work with, we support the administration, meaning the teachers who work with these high school students that might have an IEP on various planning activities. We try to engage the families as much as possible. So we do a number of workshops throughout the year, bringing, you know, people on to speak about their careers, especially regarding tech and industries that, you know, they wouldn't normally think about to enter into. We've got a evidence-based professional development that we do for staff. And of course, we coordinate and facilitate various work-based learning opportunities, which I'll talk about in a minute. So so this is TOP, our training opportunities program that we do in the fall. It's going to begin in December and go until May. We're accepting applications right now through November the 18th. So just a little history, you know, before COVID, right? Everything is you know, before COVID and after COVID, right? So before COVID, Brooklyn TCAP, because there's a TCAC in every borough. I just happen to represent the one for Brooklyn because we're in the borough of Brooklyn. But there's a TCAC in Manhattan, Queens, Bronx, and Staten Island. And we all do the same thing, right? And so before COVID, Brooklyn alone serviced 1,600 high school students in our TOP program. And we paid them $15 an hour, and they could do an internship for up to 200 hours. When COVID hit, of course, everything got reduced, you know, budgets got cut. So we're still doing TOP. It's a combination of where they do the internship in their school or in some cases outside with a partner. But because the budget has cut, now we're servicing about maybe 400 students, and they're getting a stipend of $250 as opposed to the $15 per hour. So that's what this slide talks about. And the Training Opportunities Program tries to focus on career-focused research projects, job shadowing, school-based enterprises, or internships with a industry partner. And that leads us to SYEP, which is what I mentioned earlier. That was the partnership we did actually with Cortolia Library, with Miss Mary Young. We did summer youth employment where we placed a couple of our interns at the library to do the internship, where we paid them $15 an hour, and they could work over the summer from July until August. So, you know, I saw here there's Kensington, there's Flatbush, there's Midwood. So I would love to connect with these libraries for our SYEP in 2023 to see if we can place some of our students there doing an internship. And we've got the older youths and the younger youths. The age range is from 14 to 21. The younger youths are 14 to 15. They do a virtual internship, more project-based. But our older youth, 16 to 21, they do an internship, which is a work experience where we place them with a business to do the internship. As I mentioned, we pay the students $15 an hour. So that's the fantastic thing. We're always looking for partners to take on our students for SYEP. And this is just a little bit of eligibility about SYEP. Again, you know, the student must have an IEP or a 504, and they should apply directly to our office if they do have that. SYEP, we do it in conjunction with DYCD, but the difference is if the child has an IEP or a 504 and they apply directly to our office, it's a lottery, but the lottery pool is not as large as if they went directly to DYCD. So for example, if DYCD's lottery is 5,000 students, you're competing as a student with an IEP with 5,000 students, as opposed to our lottery, which might be 1,000 students. So your odds of getting chosen, obviously, in the lottery is a lot higher if you apply directly with us. In addition, because we know that you have an IEP or a 504, we're working with partners to say, hey, these are our students. And so they understand the needs of our students, any sort of accommodation that might be needed. So that's why we always encourage apply directly to our office for SYEP during the summer. And I'm going to drop my information in the chat with my email and the Brooklyn TCAC address, so you have that. The other thing that we have that we're offering right now is through a grant that we've been given. It's called Pre-ETS, right? Pre-Employment Transition Services. So we're really pushing hard for pre-ETS. So pre-ETS is a series of 5 deliverable pre-employment and transition services for students with disabilities. It focuses on 5 different areas: job exploration, work-based learning, counseling on post-secondary options, workplace readiness, and self-advocacy. It's an application process. These 5, and they don't have to take all 5. They can take 1, they can take 2, whatever it might be, because each one is it's a 45-minute session for I think it's 3 45-minute sessions. However, they all happen after school, and they all happen virtually. So again, we try to make it as simple as possible. Again, we'll drop the information in the chat, but we're really pushing for, especially if the student has an IEP or a 504, to apply for pre-ETS, because this is going to help them as they prepare to graduate from high school and enter, whether they decide to go to college or enter into the workforce. This is just the same thing, a little bit more spelled out. And I can send this information as well that you can share out. This is just who's eligible, as I mentioned, IEP or 504, between the ages of 14 to 21. These are links to the application, but again, I can send this information, and if anyone is interested, they can reach out and we can send them the application link. And this is some of our upcoming workshops that we have. We've got actually we've got a 3-part college and vocational school options training that we're doing, beginning actually tomorrow is our first one, where at 4 o'clock we've got representatives from St. Francis College, Kingsborough, LIU, and City Tech coming on and talking about, the admissions process, scholarships, financial aid, accessibility, and accommodations. And then in November, we've got representatives from various SUNY campuses. And then in December, we will have representatives from various vocational and trade schools in New York City. So we really offer, a lot of support for families that might have a student with an IEP or a 504. And that's why we so want to make sure that, your families know about us, they connect with us, and we can provide the resources and support that they need for their child. And this is just a screenshot. As I mentioned, there are, 5 TCACs. I represent the Brooklyn TCAC, and this is just where they are. So I'm going to drop my information in the chat. I'm going to stop sharing. Hopefully I did it in 7 minutes. Now let me see, how do I do the stop sharing on here? I'm so used to Zoom. So let's see, I'm going to blow this up. Just to stop sharing grid. I'm just trying to figure out how to stop sharing, and then, thank you very much, whoever did it for me. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Terrific.
Well done.
You did. So Ms. Anderson, thank you. So you went a little over. We're human. You're fine, right? I mean, the main thing is you shared a lot of information. So thank you very much for doing that, and your patience as well. And yes, there were a few people while you were presenting who had asked if the presentation would be available for them. And so it's good to hear that it will be. And like you said, you'll put your information in the chat. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you. And thank you for the persons who have been answering some of the questions. Somebody was asking what an IEP is, and I saw somebody answer that. So thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you too. And so, so next up we have working in support of Education Wise from Lanier Miley. And so Lanier, you are up, please.
Hello, thank you everyone for having me. I'm gonna stay off camera. I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'm doing a lot of sneezing and blowing and stuff like that. I think I want to share that with you guys. But yes, I work for Working in Support of Education, or WISE. We are an education nonprofit that offers a suite of college readiness and financial literacy resources to high school students and educators throughout the country. The organization was established in 1998 here in New York, and we've worked with over 100 schools in the New York City tri-state area. The program that I'm coming to talk to you about today is being offered in the jurisdiction of Community Board 14. It's operating out of James Madison High School. And the program is called Quality of Life Innovations, or QLI. It is a civics-focused college readiness program and scholarship competition. Basically, students select an issue that they care about. They research, consult experts, and then design and implement solutions for change. QLI participants or students conduct college-level research. They learn to write and defend proposals, and they gain teamwork and critical thinking skills. This program is being made available specifically in the Community Board 14 area with support from the Department of Youth and Community Development, DYCD, it was mentioned earlier. And so under the Compass Explorer After School program, for our purposes, it's known as the WISE Club. It's for students grades 9 through 12 who live in Brooklyn within 1 hour travel distance from James Madison High School. The program meets from 3 to 6 p.m. On Fridays and every other Saturday from 8 to 12 at James Madison High School. I can put the address in the chat. There are currently 10 spaces left. And to register, students can click a link that I will also put in the chat. I guess what I would like to say outside of what I prepared is that, you know, if you've ever had a young person who wanted to make a change in their community, but they didn't know how, or they felt it was just too enormous and them as a young person couldn't make it happen, this program walks young people through the steps that one would need to take to affect change in their community. And we've had some amazing success stories. One of our graduates became the youngest assemblywoman nominated in New York City. Another works for Pfizer. Another young person created these platforms that you would install on floors to collect energy so that it could power an airport, for example. So that's the kind of stuff that young people will come up with in terms of solutions. And we also, in addition to that program, offer a financial literacy program and other college readiness programs, the links to which I will put in the chat. And that's my presentation.
So Lanier, thank you very much for you know, taking the time to share that information. That's really inspiring and exciting to hear that. And I hope you feel better too, you know, from being under the weather.
Thank you.
So sure. So like you said, you were going to share some links in the chat. So have you already shared those links, or are you in the process of doing that right now?
Doing that right now.
I got the
Okay.
address in there, Lanier. And then anything else you want to put, is send over to the info at that we can post on our website. We're happy to do that too. I just want to point out too that WISE has been a participant in the youth conference in the past, and we will certainly invite you all back this year.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And so next up, we have Trailblazers. So Jovenelli, you're up.
Awesome. Thank you, Carl. So again, my name is Jovenelli Peralta. I am the Assistant Director of School Programs over at Trailblazer Camps. So a little bit about Trailblazer. We have been around since 1887. Traditionally, we started offering overnight camp, summer camp opportunities for tri-state area. We have campgrounds in New Jersey. It's roughly, I want to say 1,500 acres of land. And so right around 2014, we transitioned into programming in Brooklyn. And so currently we offer summer camp services in a few different public parks during the summer. So we are at Brooklyn Bridge Park. We're also at Prospect Park. So if you see any lime green shirts or some tie-dye shirts that says Trailblazers in the summer, that's definitely us bombarding the public parks in the summer. And then we're also, just thinking about the wraparound care for our community. We also offer after-school services. We started around 2014, and so currently we have 9 programs spread across districts 13, 15, and 17. I am excited to be a part of this community board. We just recently were awarded a 5-year federal grant from the 21st Century program to offer services brand new school. So we're excited to start this partnership. We started 2 weeks, so we're in our 3rd week of programming over at PS 399. It's located right on Albemarle and Rogers. Right on that corner. So a little bit about programming. We are not your traditional after-school program. And I say that because we believe that kids need to go outside and play. Like, we are a strong believer that, especially after the pandemic and losing that social, emotional connections that our children were building during school hours, we are always outside and we are always playing. So our motto is go outside and grow within. Our core values are respect for self, respect for others, respect for the community, and respect for our environment. And so that's what our after-school program is surrounded by. We do a lot of community involvement across the 3 districts that I mentioned earlier. We have a strong emphasis on social emotional skills. And so, we have the children for about 3.5 hours every day, and we are working on goal setting. We're working on team building exercises. Yes, we're singing camp songs in our school buildings and our school yards. And so we're a camp-friendly, camp environment styled after school. We're all things play, like I mentioned, screen-free and hands-on activities. So we're super excited to finally, we're awarded that 21st Century grant. And so at 399 specifically, we have a large population that is underserved. And so a lot of our populations are currently in the shelter system or the foster system. And so providing the wraparound care for families that just need a minute to, work and settle their life situations is super helpful for our parents. Last bit, just because I'm a camper myself, I am a product of these after-school programs, of the SYEP, of the DYCD. And so for me, it is a full circle moment. I was that overnight camp counselor 10 years ago during undergrad. And so now having the opportunity to supervise and manage all of our sites is amazing. Once again, we are trailblazers. We play outside every day in all seasons. So rain, shine, does not matter to us. Bad weather is nothing, only inadequate clothing. That's what we always say. So I want to encourage everyone to go outside, get some playtime in, relieve that stress, and, strive to be a better us. So thank you for my piece, and I want to pass it over to our next presenter.
Jovenelli, thank you very much for sharing, the story of Trailblazers and what it aims to do, and congratulations on the grant win as well. By chance, do you have any, contact information or a link, right? Because if so, you can choose to put that in the chat and also email that to our community board office. So that way we can also have that information too.
Of course, I will share my details. Just a tidbit, our after-school programs are available for students enrolled in those respective schools. However, our summer camp programs in the Brooklyn public parks, as well as our overnight camp programs in our New Jersey estate, are open to everyone. So I will share my contact. Feel free to send your little ones over. We're happy and welcoming everyone always.
Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing that. We really appreciate that.
Of course.
And then we now turn to, Principal Joan Mosley with the Academy for College Preparation and Career Exploration at Erasmus Hall.
Thank you so much. May I share my screen?
Yes, we just need to see if, Sean, have you given her the presenter, mode or?
Sorry, I didn't have a heads up that would be requested, but it should be doable now.
All right, let me give it a try. Let's see. It's asking me to open systems. Hold on one second.
Okay.
All right, well, let's see if it's gonna let me share it. Oh gosh, I hope so. Well, anywho, if it's not gonna let me share it.
I'm sorry, I really want to hear your presentation, Joan. I'm gonna try to take it on my phone, but a few of us have to leave because the library closed today at 8.
Well, shout out to the librarians and the branch managers for all you do. Thank you so much. I was at Cabinet Plaza last week for a meeting, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for hearing our presentation. See you on the phone.
All right, see you on the phone. So I'm Joan Mosley. I am the proud principal of the Academy for College Preparation and Career Exploration. And, it doesn't look like my computer is going to allow me to share because it's asking me to open up my system's preferences, and my system's preferences doesn't want to cooperate. But that doesn't matter because I feel like I'm home right now. Thank you to Community Board 14 for allowing me to present. I have so much in common with everyone that presented today. Lanier mentioned WISE. We are a school, a 6 to 12 school on the Erasmus campus in Brooklyn, and we actually have the WISE program at our school. Students participate in 8-week seminars in legal professions and civics, public speaking, introduction to personal finance, and introduction to sustainability and STEM, as well as the quality of life program. So we are a living, breathing example of the work that WISE does. And I actually had pictures for you from WISE in a recent resume writing workshop that we went to at T. Rowe Price, compliments of WISE. So shout out to Lanier and the WISE folks. And I also wanted to say a special thank you to Ms. Anderson at TCAC, because we did launch a transition linkage center in our school this year, because we believe that it's very important that students with individual education programs and plans have a plan for college, and it should start in the 9th grade. So I want to shout out the work that TCAC does, because that's really critical. And then I want to shout out the libraries, because we have found that the libraries have so much to offer, and there's an essential partnership between public libraries and schools. And we have launched an initiative in our school called the For Love of Reading initiative that we started last month. And our students actually did a book tasting in the local library in our school, where they got to explore all the different genres in our school. And so I would like to be able to come back and share with you so much more about our school, because I have an amazing presentation, but I can't share it, and it's late, and I know you guys are over time. So I would like to be invited back so I can share all the photos and give you a photo tour of the beautiful campus, and all of the contacts, all of the important contact information that you need to learn more about college prep. So if I could be invited back, that'd be amazing. But I don't want to take up your time trying to figure out how to open up the PowerPoint in WebEx. So
Yeah, we'll have you back and we'll set it up ahead of time so that we know that we've got your back next time. I just want to also acknowledge the fact that you have been everywhere at all times of day. I don't know where I've been where I haven't seen you. So thank you for your tireless ubiquity.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys for all the work you do. I learned a lot tonight, and I'm really enjoying being part of the community and just learning the richness of Brooklyn. I'm born and raised in Flatbush. My son graduated from the Erasmus campus. So this work is personal for me, and I appreciate the work that you do, bringing the community out and letting them know about everything that's available to them. So thank you for the work you do.
You too as well, Principal Mosley. And so it is 8 p.m. And so, you know, the librarians had to depart, but yes, thank them. We thank them heavily. And then Lanier, you know, Jovenelli, you know, everybody, Principal Mosley, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us and share, you know, these insights and, you know, basically the resources that you all provide for our community. And so with that being said, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Okay.
Florencia.
Thank you very much, Florencia. And does someone second that motion?
Second.
Second.
All right. Thank you. And so at 8:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that concludes this October 25th meeting of the Youth Services and Education Libraries Committee meeting. So folks, take care of yourselves, have a good night, and rest up. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you for having us.
Good
Thanks,
night.
Night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Meeting.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night,
job,
all.
Carl.
Thank you.
Good night,
Thanks, this
folks.
was awesome.
Bye-bye.